Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishnah Rosh Hashanah, Parak Aleph, Chapter 1, Mishnah Zayin, Mishnah 7. Av ubenoi, a father and son, Sharoas HaChodesh, that saw the new moon. So let me ask you a question. If a father and son saw the new moon, can they be the witnesses together to testify about it?
I say no.
The answer is no. Relatives can't be witnesses together.
Oh, yeah.
So the Mishnah still says, Yelechu. Let them still go. Meaning you'll say, we saw it together, no point for both of us to go, because we can't both be witnesses.
No.
Still, the Mishnah says, Yelechu, they should still go. Not because they will combine with each other, rather, in case one of them becomes invalidated, then the other one can combine with somebody else. Meaning the assumption is that there's going to be more than two witnesses that are going to come. The moon's up there. There'll be a number of people coming. So you should go. Father and son should go. Why? Because in case one of them becomes invalidated, as we'll see, the Beis Din, the high court, interrogates the witnesses, asks them a number of questions to figure out if we can rely on what they say they saw or not. Now, what happens if both of them go, right? And one of them comes out, he doesn't pass the interrogation. All right. So now the other one's left. And he can combine with somebody else who came. Somebody completely else who came and testified about the same thing. So the point is that we want witnesses to come. We want as many people to come. At the same time, in the case of father and son, where you might say, what's the point? We can't testify together anyway. Nonetheless, come in case one of them becomes invalidated. If they don't become invalidated, one of them just won't be used. But in case one of them becomes invalidated, then the other one who would be still valid can combine with somebody else. So therefore we say you should come. Reb Shimon says, Avu b'noi v'chol ha'krovin, a father and son and all relatives, k'sheirin la'edus ha'chodesh. They are valid witnesses when it comes to the testimony about the new moon. Although you need two witnesses for other aspects of Jewish law, or for most aspects of Jewish law, for this, Reb Shimon says, you need two witnesses. But for other aspects of Jewish law, witnesses can't be related. They can't be related to each other. They can't be related to the judges. They can't be related to the people involved. In this case, we say that Reb Shimon says when it comes to the witnesses of the new moon, they can be related. How do you know? So Reb Shimon's explanation is very interesting. Where does the mitzvah of establishing the new moon come from? It comes from the book of Shemais, Parshas Bo, when Hashem says to Moshe and Aaron, "HaChodesh hazeh lochem reish chodashim," which literally means this is the first month. But as Rashi brings down there, Hashem was not just telling Moshe and Aaron about the first month of the year, but telling them this is how you establish a new month. When you see the new moon, that's how you establish the month. Who is Hashem talking to? Moshe and Aaron. Were they related?
Yep.
Certainly were. So it says Rabbi Shimon, you see that they can be the witness, that relatives can be the witnesses. Okay. Now, the first opinion did not agree with that, right? The first opinion said they cannot combine.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he do with the fact that Hashem told Moshe and Aaron about the new moon? So he learns Hashem did not tell Moshe and Aaron about the new moon as witnesses to it. They can't be witnesses, but they have to be the judges. Meaning, as we say, the witnesses have to come in front of a Beis Din. They have to come in front of a court. What kind of a court? It has to be the court like Moshe and Aaron. It has to be it has to be the highest court, the greatest scholars of the Jewish people, which means the Sanhedrin, the high court. It can't just be any court that establishes the new moon. It has to be through the Beis Din HaGadol, through the Sanhedrin, the highest court, similar to Moshe and Aaron, who were the highest leaders of the Jewish people at that time. Okay, a story that relates to this. Amar Rabbi Yossi said, there was a man, the Rofe, he was a doctor. He was called Tovia the doctor. He saw the new moon in Yerushalayim, he, Uvenoi, his son, the Avdei Meshuchrar, and his freed slave. He had a slave, a Gentile slave. It's called an Eved Kanani. The law is if you free a Gentile slave, he is automatically a convert. He's not considered a Jew like a convert. So you've got 3 Jewish people who are witnessing the new moon together. Okay. The Mishnah then says, the Kohanim accepted him and his son to be witnesses, but they invalidated his former slave. Now, who are these Kohanim? Who are these Kohanim? It says the Kohanim. It doesn't say the Beis Din. Actually, we're going to learn about the Beis Din, what the Beis Din said about this. Let's read a bit further. When he came in front of the court, they accepted him and his servant, and they invalidated his son. So we've got 2 stages here, the Kohanim and the Beis Din. Who are these Kohanim? So the explanation is these Kohanim were not part of the Beis Din, but they were Kohanim they met up with. The Kohanim were the scholars, the teachers, besides being the Kohanim. And so Tuvia said, all 3 of us, me, my son, and my former slave, we saw the new moon. How are we kosher? Who of us are kosher to be able to be witnesses together? So the Kohanim said, you and your son, following the opinion of Reb Shimon, who says relatives can be witnesses, but not your servant, because they held that someone to be a kosher witness for the new moon, they have to have Jewish lineage. They have to come from Jews. They had some kind of source from the Torah to say that in order to be kosher witnesses, they have to come from Jewish lineage. They have to be born Jewish. Have to be born from Jewish parents. So that was the Kohanim, but they weren't the final deciders because they weren't the Sanhedrin. Then when they came to the Beis Din, right, meaning they came to the Sanhedrin that was going to decide that was going to accept the witnesses and based on the witnesses declare the new moon, they accepted him and his servant. They held he doesn't have to have a Jewish. They don't have to have a Jewish lineage to be witnesses for this, but they invalidated his son because they held like the first opinion that they can't be related to witnesses. Mm-hmm. So this story shows how this whole argument manifested itself in an actual case. At the end of the day, the halacha is like the first opinion that relatives cannot be witnesses together for the new moon. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.